Now, senior colleagues amongst us have all been in that position to shut down a machine and shut down a plant. Whoa, think of the cost implications. Think of all the hassle of getting that plant started. So maybe it's better to keep it going and get the guys to work while we're still going. Guy in a paper mill, crushed between two rollers, trying to clean the rollers while the things are still working. Now, we wouldn't do that today, would we? Operating machinery. We don't want people near that. So that was a valuable lesson, huh? Just let's keep going. Rushing to beat the weather. Rushing to beat the weather. Why should we rush to beat the weather? And this happens everywhere, does it not? I work a lot in the marine industry with ships. And if a ship's in a port, it's not earning money. So the guy in charge here is called the party chief. The party chief is like the project manager who has to make sure everything in that vessel's ready so it sails when they said they would sail. Okay? And obviously the captain is the prime legal duty holder. He or she can decide whatever he wants. No, we're not sailing. But the pressure on the party chief to get this boat to sail. And if the weather's coming up, hey, we better get out of here before that storm comes. So you see people trying to rush to get that boat fully provisioned before it sails. So it happens everywhere. Had a guy cut the top of his finger off because he was rushing to get into dinner. But there's more to it than that, isn't there? Let me tell you the story of how it fits together with our behavioral traps. You were rushing to get into dinner. Why? Why didn't you have a Coke and a Mars bar? You don't need dinner. Look at this. What do you need dinner for? But Bill, I've been late 5 nights in a row. So this guy, in certain places you work through, and the chef, when you go to the dining room, if you're late enough, all the food's taken away. You have to get the chef to call to bring the food back. 5 nights in a row. Now, you don't need to be a genius to work this out. First of all, the man himself. Hey boss, that's 2 nights I've been late. I've had to get the chef to bring the dinner out. That's 2 nights in a row. I'm not doing another one. So the man himself, the courage to stop the job. But where was the supervisor when this guy's working 5 nights in a row, so late past his dinner time that he can't get dinner? Where's all the planning? Working quickly, working efficiently. Good, yes? Rushing? No. Quickly. See, we're playing with words again, aren't we? What's the difference between quickly and rushing? Quickly means quick doing it and working, but rushing means a bit of panic. As soon as you find yourself rushing, stop the job. You're not being good, you're not being clever, you're not helping the boss, because you're going to fall, break your wrist, and the job has to stop anyway. And you know from your training in risk assessment, if you just take one of the steps away, it wouldn't happen. If we can just be aware, if we can be super aware of one thing and stop that one thing, the chain of events stops and the accident doesn't happen. Just needs one person to say, no, I'm not doing this, time out. Everybody cares. Every single person cares about themselves, their family, their people. The managers care. If someone doesn't care, what do we do to them? No, we don't fire them immediately. We coach and we counsel. And if they do it again, we coach and we counsel. And if they do it again, we coach a written warning. But if a guy's making mistakes and doesn't understand, we coach and counsel, coach and counsel. But at the end of the day, this behavioral stuff seems nice and woolly and soft and understanding and talk nicely to people and don't insult them. But at the end of the day, if you've coached and counseled someone 3 times and they still haven't got it, is it good for them to be in this position, this job? No. It's okay. Sorry, you can't work here anymore. Let's find you another job somewhere else, but not here because you can't do this. You're going to hurt yourself and others. Okay. So, think of the behavioral traps. What are we asking you to do? We're asking you to be hyper-aware. Okay? See things before it gets you. Try and predict what's going to happen. We're asking you to be extra courageous, not so that fighting the fear thing. If you see a guy doing this, you've got to take a risk he's going to turn around and tell you to get lost. If you stop the job 3 times, you've got to take a risk that someone's going to be upset with you. So to fight the fear, we're asking you to overcome the natural human instinct, not to get into trouble. Think of it this way. Quite a lot of young people in the room, which is great. Let's say I'm 23 years old. Ha ha ha. It's my 3rd week on the job. All the guys around me have been here 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. Okay? The guys I'm working with want to do a job a particular way. And as a 23-year-old, just out of college, been on 3 safety courses, I'm not happy with the way they're going to do this job. I'm a bit worried about what they're going to be doing here. As a 23-year-old, only 3 weeks in the job, am I allowed to stop the job? Am I allowed to stop the job? Yes. Should I stop the job? Do you think I would stop the job? It's easy to talk about all this behavioral stuff and have more courage, but now thankfully we're all in the room together. You understand this, we've got to make it more explicit. A 23-year-old, 3 weeks in the job, trained up to the hilt, all energetic about safety, stops a job. Don't be so bloody silly. You college guys, get back to the books. We're back to mocking and belittling. I know you wouldn't do it in that way, but if you do that, do you realize nothing will help us? No Bill Rob workshop, no risk assessment workshop will help us. That will damage that guy for a long time. Do you agree? Am I damaging the safety culture by the way that I speak to people, the way that I'm doing things? And again, I keep stressing, it's not only from senior colleagues, it's from mates, someone who's 6 years more experienced than me. Concentration. We're asking you to be courageous enough to own up when you can't cope. We're asking the supervisors to pay attention to the lack of concentration, fatigue factor. People, and I know you do this anyway, you watch the guy's hours, but 3 out of 10 accidents. We're so good at everything else, the accidents are happening because the guys can't concentrate. So we hope they own up, but as supervisors, managers, have we done enough to make sure they can concentrate? Okay. And what does perfection mean for us in safety? And we've been talking about it a bit today. What is perfection for safety? Zero. Zero accidents, zero harm to the environment, zero harm to the assets or whatever. You know, your 3 zeros, so 0 accidents. How many of you believe that 0, our ultimate goal, is possible? Why do we doubt that 0 is possible? Because we are human. How can 0 be possible when we're human? But let me show you how to get your head around this. In the whole week, has anyone in this room had a twisted ankle, busted finger, broken neck, a twisted eyeball? No. So for these people in this company for a whole week, you've achieved 0. So let's not argue about whether 0 is possible. It is, and that's how we prove it. Where's the trick? 0 is possible. How long? How long can we achieve it? Isn't that what we're struggling with? Isn't that the struggle that you and I and everybody is struggling with? 0 is possible. We don't want to have an accident. Not myself, not anybody else. But all we're struggling with as human beings is how long can we remain perfect? Don't have an argument about 0. It's possible. You can do it. All we're fighting for is staying 0 at a longer time. We're asking human beings to be at a level of awareness that is unusual in normal life. You're at the work site, a guy's got a heavy piece of equipment, he's struggling with it, this thing's going to tipple over and fall if you don't help, and he says, "Oi, can you give us a hand with this?" Should you go and help him? Loyalty, mates, friends, you should go and help him, yeah? Okay? What happens if the thing falls and crushes your foot? I'm going to make it the other way around. You shouldn't help anybody at the work site. Don't help anybody at the work site unless he's bigger than you. No, unless it's safe to do so. I've got 5 incidents where people were asked to help. They went to help. No toolbox talk. Not aware of the risks involved. Bang. One guy got knocked into the water offshore. Landed up in the water because he went to help his person. So the human if someone says, "Please help me move this," the human inclination, yes, is to go and help the guy because you don't want to be a bad person. We're human beings together. If I help you, you'll help me. So we automatically go to help. What we're saying now is, if I help him, what's going to happen? Now, if it's emergency and everything else, that's up to you to decide how far you want to go in an emergency to help other individuals. That's a different kind of scenario. But a normal working environment, if it falls, fine. But if the guy's in danger, you make a choice as to whether you're going to go in or not. So this helping thing, yeah. Yes, help people, but only if it's safe to do so. If it's not safe to do so, do not go and help. Why should you get crushed as well as him? The last case I was involved in, 3 guys in a ship. One guy, lots of things to do with planning and preparation and everything else. Guy goes into the tank, he falls over. His mate goes into the tank to help him. What happens to his mate? He falls over. The 3rd guy sees his 2 mates at the bottom of a tank. He goes into the tank. What happens to him? Now, when we say help, do you agree they were helping but in the wrong way? They should have gone, take 5 minutes, get the breathing apparatus, whatever they needed to go into the tank. So helping people did not help. So we have to think about the words help. Am I really helping or not? Make a judgment call. Is it safe to help or is it not safe to help? Okay.